Everyone from wherever you are joining us, I welcome you to class. I welcome you all to the day 2 of this professional training on occupational safety and health. I'm sure that you've been having a pleasant day. I want to assume that yes, the day has been going well and fine for everyone. Yes, we are glad that you are here, that you have joined in this class today. We started this training yesterday, the training which is on occupational safety and health. And yesterday was a very, very great and wonderful experience for us all. And I'm glad that in this class, we are going to be bringing this training to a conclusive end. And by the end of this class, I believe that, yes, everything that we need to update ourselves on when it comes to occupational safety and health, we would have learned them at the end of this class. Yes, and I do tell many of our trainees, those who partake in every of our trainings, that yes, learning is a continuum. There's no stop or end to learning. Whatever you have learned or benefited from this class, be rest assured that there are still more for you to learn. So it is an important thing that yes, you don't stop even while this class is over. Continue to gain for more knowledge, more understanding, and most importantly, as it pertains to the field of occupational safety and health. I want to say welcome to you all. I remain my humble self, Kehinde Samson Ogumewa, an administrative officer with CUC Concepts Training Company Limited, the firm that has brought this training to you at a free on a free basis. And we are glad that yes, many people saw the importance and the need and has jumped on this particular opportunity that we as a firm, CUC Concept Training Company Limited, has brought forward. I want to say congratulations, and I'm glad that yes, you are able to make that mark. So once again, I say welcome. So from wherever you are joining us, you're welcome to class. Do we have anyone who wasn't present in yesterday's class? So please, if you're in present in yesterday's class, let me see. They'll just signify by raising up your hands. You're any present in yesterday's class. So yesterday we started with all you need to know about occupational safety and health. And courtesy our resource person who has been so instrumental in the delivery of this class, that's the person of Mr. James Faniyi, who is one of our core trainers with CC Concept Training Company Limited. Yes, he's one of the best in the field and when it comes to delivery. And most of us who were present in this class yesterday can attest to that. He's going to be joining us today again. And in a few moments from now, you are going to be hearing Mr. James' voice. So I want to implore us that please, as you are joining the class, endeavor that your microphones are on mute so that we can avoid any form of interruption while the lesson or class is ongoing. And if you have a question, just signify by raising up your hand or note down your question or drop it in the comment section, in the e-message section. So at the end of the class, we are going to be taking those questions, and trainer, a resource person, is going to do justice to them by responding to those questions. So we are streaming live on YouTube. So please, if there's anyone who is unable to join this live class or this live link, the person can easily use the YouTube link. The 2 links that we are using for this training has been shared or dropped on the WhatsApp platform. So you can go to the WhatsApp platform to pick this few links. Okay, so let us try to do that. So for everyone who was not part of yesterday's class, you still have the opportunity to rewatch the recorded video. We have the recorded video on our YouTube channel. We have equally dropped the recorded video on the WhatsApp platform. So please, those who missed out on yesterday's class, go to the WhatsApp platform so that you can have ample access to that video and rewatch it. So at the end of today's class, we are going to be dropping the post assessment. Yes, there's an assessment for this particular training. So please, yes, there's no training that you should do that you wouldn't be assessed on. So the assessment is just to test your understanding of what has been taught so far and to help you towards to stay abreast of them all. And aside from that, it is also a prerequisite for you to get in the certification for this training. So yes, there's going to be certification for this training, and we've released the information on that. So for many people who have joined in on this class, I want to believe that you're on the WhatsApp platform and that you have created specifically for this training. So this information regarding certificate has been dropped on that group. Yes, and for the certificates that we offer, there are discount offers on them. So the time band on every of those discount offers are already attached to that information that we have dropped on the WhatsApp. So please do well to go to the WhatsApp group. We'll keep reposting it so that you can get acquainted with it. I think the first the discount offer is going to end on the 3rd of May. So you want to do well to jump on that offer and take hold of, that very, very much interesting offer that we have given for the certification for this course. Okay, so let's take note of that. Very, very important. Okay, so I want to say welcome to everyone once again for joining and being a part of this professional training on occupational safety and health. So we are going to begin up from where we stopped yesterday. Like I did introduce, our resource person is none other than Mr. James Fanny, who is going to be facilitating this class. Who is going to be facilitating this class? So in a few moments from now, you are going to be hearing his voice. So please, I want you to give him your undivided attention. Stay with us up until the end. Yes, if you by chance don't have the opportunities to stay on the class, you can use the YouTube link that we also use in facilitating this training. Okay, so once again, I say welcome to you. Yes, we are going to be starting the class right about now. If you have your questions, note them down. By the end of the class, we are going to give ample time and opportunity for you to ask your question. Okay, so the next voice you'll be hearing will be that of our resource person. So please do enjoy your class. Over to you, Mr. James.
I want to welcome you to the day 2 of our OSH training, Occupational Safety and Health training, and the final day for this training. Yeah, you may wonder why we actually limited it to 2 days, and that's because we know that we have a lot of busy people on board. I just wish you could actually see the portfolios of everyone here. You know that these are busy people, but out of our busy schedule, our safety is very paramount, and I believe that's why many people are actually kind of joining us on this training. So we've started, and then tonight we have a whole lot to cover, just like I said yesterday. So let's begin immediately. Thank you, moderator. Moderator has introduced me. My name is James Fanny, so I don't need to reintroduce myself. So we need to start immediately because we have a lot. Permit me, moderator, can you please grant me access to share my screen? Moderator, please permit me to share my screen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. That will be done in a bit.
Okay. So yesterday, we did a whole lot on the overview of general safety at workplace, and we talked so much about the sources and let me say things that actually cause accidents. We talk about human behavior. We talk about the work environment condition. That's what we're discussing: unsafe acts and unsafe conditions. So yesterday we talked about hazards. We discussed, how to prevent unsafe condition and how to control unsafe acts. We discussed a whole lot: PPE, personal protective equipment, how to wear it correctly, and which one do you have to wear, at what place, and what kind of job you may actually want demand that. So we discussed a whole lot yesterday. I think a lot of answers, or let me say a lot of lessons also came out from the questions being asked. So thank you very much. We are joining us on Google Meet, on YouTube or Facebook tonight. So let's get started. Thank you, moderator. I can share now. Yeah. So I want to start today's class with this, okay? And I want to see how many of us really, was present in yesterday's training, and how many of us had gone through the recorded session of the training. So if you have gone through the recorded session of the training, or you were present yesterday, you may be able to actually answer all that. Now, I want to ask, And that's what I'm starting with. What is the difference between hazard and risk? Moderator, please, you can take charge now. I need people to give answers to this. Who can answer that? What's the difference between hazard and risk? Who will give me that tonight as we are starting? You can see this man here, so I'm also jotting down just like this man. Who can give us the difference between... Moderator, are you there, sir? Are you there, Mr. Moderator? Okay, so you can raise your hand. You can raise your hand if you can answer that. Raise your hand, I will call you. I think moderator is not. Moderator, are you here?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I asked a question. People are raising their hands.
Okay, then. So please, if you have an answer to the question, just raise your hand so I will call you. Okay, Mr. Ismaila Shaba, can you unmute yourself? Ismaila Shaba, can you unmute yourself? You are the only one that can see your hand. Okay, I guess it's not available. Okay, Derek, can you unmute yourself, sir?
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. So I would say hazard, is anything that has potential to cause harm. And this could be a physical object, substance, or a process. Can I give an example?
Please go ahead.
Okay, like a wet floor that can cause slips or fall. Then a risk is, what I can say about a risk is, let me say a probability that a person will be harmed or experience adverse health effects if exposed to a hazard.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Right.
Thanks.
Okay.
Is there any other person that wants to give a try? The moderator, someone have I think we have a...
No other. Okay, no other person. No other person.
Okay, thank you so much for that answer. I think you were very much on point. Okay. Yes. The way you define it is okay. They defining the hazard, and also the way you also define a risk. I love the word you use there. That's the key word, probability.
Okay, thank you.
The probability that somebody will be, will sustain harm, from an hazard. Okay. So hazard, as we explained yesterday, is anything that has potential to cause harm. So the risk in this case is that, yes, this thing has the potential to cause harm. But what's the probability that the harm will actually occur? So you can have a dormant hazard. Can you hear me, please? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Everyone see my screen?
Yes, I can see you. I can see your screen. I can hear you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So if you have any challenge anytime and I'm talking, please reach out to the moderator. So that's the difference we have. Now I need another person to give the difference between incident and accident.
Mekerete Usak, you want to attempt the question? Mekerete Usak. Mekerete Usak, can you hear me?
Anybody? Incidents and accident. I actually explained this also yesterday. I mentioned this. Moderator, please.
I can see Mr. Akiola Abayomi. Akiola Abayomi. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, from my own knowledge, I would say incidents are
things that we have put in place, and I think that will happen. Then accidents are that doesn't have.
No. You tried. Let me say, there's no right or wrong here. So, but yeah, that's not what we. Yeah, that's not what they really mean.
Obruche Prince. Obruche Prince. You can unmute your mic.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Accident is an unplanned happening that could result to injury.
Okay, Obruche Prince, we can't hear you. Emmanuel.
Okay,
also.
I said, can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Okay, hold on, Emmanuel. Also, Obruche Prince, you're back. We can hear you now.
Okay, so I was saying that accident is an unintentional happening or situation, yeah, that could cause damage, harm, or injury, as well as loss of life to persons or properties. Incident, on the other hand, is also unplanned situation or happening that may not necessarily cause damage, injury, or loss of life, as well as damage to properties. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Emmanuel also.
Okay, can you hear me?
Please go ahead.
Okay, an accident is a specific type of incident.
Good. Okay, thank you very much.
I don't know if I'm permitted to.
Okay, good evening. In my own, what I learned yesterday, an accident is an event that can happen unintentionally. Why an incident is an event that may result, maybe not in damage, harm, or injury, but it's an event that happens unintentionally, but it might not really cause a damage or a harm or injury.
Yes. Thank you so much. Accidents as a substance that leads to it. There must be something that you fail to correct. There must be an hazardous situation that you can see, but you fail to correct it. And if anything happens from that, maybe an injury or death or anything whatsoever, that is an accident. But when you talk about incident has no traces. You may not have any trace whatsoever or any clue that that particular thing will happen. I made an example yesterday. Somebody dropped banana peel on the floor. All of us refuse to pick it and dispose it because we believe that we are not the one that ate that banana. If anybody sleep based on that banana peel on the floor, that is an accident. We refuse to correct the situation. That's why it led to an accident. But let's say we have a case of robbery in the factory. Nobody expected that armed robbers will come at that time. Nobody knew, even no matter maybe the security you put in place, you can still have a case of robbery. That is an incident. So we need to actually as people who are going through this training, you need to know how to use these terminologies, how to use them well, so that you will not be so generic like a layman who may not have this knowledge. So it's very important. So hazard, again, anything with the potential to cause harm to life, health, or property. And risk is the measure of the likelihood and severity of potential injury or illness resulting from a hazard. We have different types of hazard. Yesterday we discussed about the ergonomic hazard that relates with your job, or it relates with your repetitive activities that you do. When you see somebody who works in mines where there is always blasting, the person will get used to noise, and then his eardrums or the hearing ability might actually be damaged over time. That is ergonomic hazard. But you have somebody that his own is to be standing, going down, standing, going down, standing, going down. That person may actually be, in fact, when you interact with people that work in mines, there are many of them that even when they get home, they began to hear the reverberation. We call it reverberation in physics. They will be hearing the reverberation of noise as if their ears had stored the noise from the factory and it's now replaying itself when they are home. When you see people that they work with equipment that vibrate a lot, especially those that use drill on the road, the equipment they use every day vibrates. These people, even when they sit down and they are not holding anything, over time, their hands and their legs will just vibrate, involuntarily. That's an economic hazard. Somebody that always sits down, his job is to sit down and he sits for long, 10 or 12 hours. He might begin to actually have something like hunchback, okay? Because he's always bent like that, that even if you want to straighten up, you could not straighten again. That's economic hazard, okay? You can also have physical hazard, that is physical things that can cause a physical harm, like knife, like your plier. Those ones, they can result to a physical hazard. Chemical hazard, inhaling of chemicals. Biological hazard, that's viruses, okay? So these are, types of hazard. And the major one we mentioned yesterday is also psychological hazards. I've actually experienced a lot of, in this work of safety, where you see that the problem that a particular company is having, or the result of, the injuries that they are recording, the accident that they are recording, because it's normal. Whenever there's an accident or any injury at workplace, it's always being recorded so that it can actually be brought into, safety audits. Anytime we want to actually carry out the audits, we have to ask them, what are the, history, historical background of this equipment? How many people have been injured by this equipment and all that? So we discovered that a lot of accidents could actually be controlled if the workers are in the right frame of mind. That's the psychological advice. The shift that you run can affect the workers. The time that you make payments, their salary. When you are in the culture of delaying salary, maybe until the calendar is until the 5th or 6th of the following month. This can actually, affect the mental stability of the workers, and then they begin to misbehave. Okay. The culture you also put in place. Okay. There are some areas where if they enter there, they must not use a earpiece. They must not just be listening to music, because you want them to be very alert. The signs and symbols of safety that you put in places, for everybody to see, and so that they will not have any excuse. All these actually, can, help with this, either give birth psychological hazard or help us to mitigate psychological hazard. Now, I want us to look at this diagram. Can you identify any other hazards in this picture? Are there hazards in this picture? Yes, there are. We have a lot of things to cover, so I may not ask that question. So, of course, if you have noted it with me, then you are right. That what the wet floor here is an hazard. Even the cable that you see that is flying about, all these things, and when you look at your, just picture where you walk now and see, if you normally have all these kind of cables, like this rod that you are looking at here, it can roll. If anybody step on this, let me make a mark. Let me change my marker to red so that you can see what I'm marking for you. So look at this. Anybody that step on this can roll and make the person to fall and sleep. This is not properly packed, okay? This can affect the gangway, anybody that is passing here. Anybody that step on this can actually trip, and so many much more like that. So what does that actually tell us? It means that there must be, we must uphold what we call housekeeping. We must uphold it. These pictures, we had a lot of this yesterday, and I think that we all actually brought out, hazards, hazardous situations, unsafe conditions out of those pictures. We did all that yesterday, and then I would like us to look at this, when we are talking about occupational safety and health, what it involves. Okay. So it involves facilities tools and equipment. So we made mention of all this yesterday. Okay, all our facilities, all our tools and equipment have to support the safety of the workers. It must not actually pose threats to their health. Okay, we must actually still draft procedures, standards, and policies. What are the procedures? How do we carry out our work? Yes, we are into production, but the processes that our production go through can affect the staff. I met a man, there was a time I met a man, I won't want to mention the name of the company. He told me that they work in cold room. And when you hear of cold room, for many of us that may not know what we mean by that, it means that you are working in a place where the temperature is very, very low, lower than room temperature that human body is supposed to actually survive in. So you can imagine when you are in a place, you are working at maybe 10 degrees Celsius. Even if you have AC, your AC shouldn't be, at home. Let's say 17, you put it on 17 or so. And if you feel that it's too cold, you can still increase the temperature. But when you are in cold room, you can have 5 degrees Celsius. You can, most of these people that are into this magic cube and all that, they work in cold room. And there is a particular vest that they're supposed to wear so that it will protect their chest. He said they never gave them. And the only thing that they always tell them is that if you want to resign, resign. We don't have. So you have to go in there. And many people who are just depending on the job to feed their family and they're looking at the condition of the country, they will do it. But trust me, their lifespan, get reduced even with that. Because you would think that you are all right, but a lot is actually going on in your body. I've met a man also who works in a chemical, they deal with chemical in their company. And these are people that are not being given nose masks. In fact, they are using all these, they are using the common nose mask that you see. It's a special nose mask they're supposed to actually be using. There are some regions that you may want to enter in a company that deal with chemicals. You may have to use, artificial oxygen so that you will not breathe in the air there. All these conditions, we are bringing it to your notice because you are the only one that is responsible for your health. You are the first man standing. And if possible, we may say the last man standing that will defend all these things. You may unfortunately be working in a company where they do not really care about the safety of the workers. But like I answered the question yesterday, if they see that you invest into your safety, it's going to be a lot of challenge to them. They give you a fake safety boot, you got an original one for yourself. They gave you this, you got this. They didn't give you, you are using it. Other staff will see what you are doing, and you are going to be a very good example. And trust me, if I'm talking about, I'm just talking about a company, there are also some staff or employees that do not care about their health. The funny thing is that when I was working in cement plants, okay, what they used to do before was at the end of every month, there is a number of, team milk that they normally give out to every staff. So that when you take this milk, experimentally, when you take milk, even if you have inhaled cement, you have inhaled some of those particles, that is going to actually neutralize it and is going to, kind of neutralize them in your body system. Guess what? The funny thing that was happening is that right there at the gates, whenever immediately they are sharing the milk, we don't know how the dealers or people that are selling milk in the town, we don't know how they normally get the information. They will be waiting for their customers at the gates. Who are their customers? These are the staff, the cement, staff, the cement plant staff. As they are collecting the milk that were given to them to go and drink, to nurture their body and nourish their body and reduce the hazardous, particles they must have inhaled. These people will be selling it right there at the gate. When the company discovered this, they had to convert the milk, they convert it to monetary term. They will not add it up in the salary. Of course, you guys are selling it, so why are we giving you? Let's just state it in the salary. If you like, you can, remove your own money and go and buy the milk. So don't let us stress ourselves buying the milk again. So as we have the companies that are very, they have, like I said, basic attitude towards safety of employees. Likewise, we have staff that they also have like a mystical attitude towards their own health. They don't care. They believe that they are a Superman. They can do anything. And all these have what repercussions. So OSH also include preacher training. There should be training. Unfortunately, many companies are in the habit of, in fact, there are some people that are working in companies even for 10 years and they have never experienced anything like safety training. If they are going to bring training, it's going to be a training that will only benefit them. It's going to be a training that will only make you to do the job that they, on-job training, but not the one that will teach you about your safety or how to be safe or anything like that. There should be safety training. There should be safety communications, and that's what we'll talk about, signs and symbols. Okay, I'm going to be showing you some also tonight. There should be leadership. Leadership is the involvement of the management. All supervisors, all managers, they are not exempted. If there is a place nobody must enter without safety boots, as you are coming, even as the manager or the owner of the company, you have to put on your safety boots, because accident is no respecter of anybody. Okay, there must always be risk assessment and information. What is risk assessment? Every equipment in the company must always be assessed. And what is this risk assessment? We want to know what are the hazards attached to this particular machine. What are the injuries that anybody whatsoever may sustain from this machine? Can there be, bombs? Can the person hit his head? Does this machine have the potential of chopping off somebody's finger? Does it have a potential of, causing this harm or that? So we have to list out all the hazards that are possible with the machine. Now, after listing out all these hazards, then we begin to get the equipment that we may actually use, or the process that we can use to mitigate those hazards. How can we control those hazards? How can we reduce the risk? That will be the next thing. But when we don't know the hazards that are attached to a machine, there's no way we can actually control them. We must also have our goals and objectives. What is our goal and objectives? I remember back then when I was working with cement plant, there are some beautiful things that they do, and there are some beautiful things that, some horrible things that they also do. So the beautiful thing is that we normally celebrate, when we have a year of no accident or no injury, there is always a big celebration. And it's not just a celebration, all the staff, they will receive a commission. There is a commission for it. So you can imagine when you have that kind of system, that is a motivation for even staff or employees to work safely. Because in a year in your department, if there's no case of accident, there is a particular amount of money according to your salary or your level that they pay everybody annually. There's always a celebration like that. That can be the goals and objectives, to record 0 injury, 0 deaths. So when we have a target towards our safety, then everybody will be alert, and we are going to actually establish what a safety culture, as we discussed yesterday. There must always be motivation, like I mentioned now. Okay, fine, if you can walk without recording accident. I know of drivers, most of the drivers, company drivers, they have this as a rule. If your vehicle, you come back with your vehicle being hit by another vehicle on the road, let's say you just bring it back, maybe being bashed by another car. If it happened 3 times, 2 times, I think is warning, 3 times, depending on company anyway. If it happens 4th time, you are going to be sacked. No explanation. Nobody wants to hear, oh, Lagos is a rough place, oh, the person was driving rough. It means that you cannot drive the company car or company vehicle safely. So they sack the person, those kind of driver immediately. And if you're also a driver, you can drive this car. There is a stipulated time that they normally give them without, no, you did not hit the car, no case of accident or anything whatsoever. There are also some motivation, like commission they normally give them. There must always be safety audits. See, you can't get it all right. And the more you introduce, new equipment to the plants, you should know that as you are introducing a new equipment, you are introducing new hazards. You are introducing new possibility of accidents, injuries, threat to life. And that is why there must always be, safety audits. Safety audit must always take place. You must always check the policies that we have set. How effective are they? How many people have we recorded who have been injured? Oh, we carried out risk assessment on this machine. Anybody been injured by this machine for like 6 months of using it? These are things that auditing will actually give you. Auditing does not mean that you are stupid, you are foolish, but it must be a statutory thing with the company. Oh, is it every year you want to be doing it? Is it every 6 months? Normally you can do it every year, but if there are some challenging departments, you may set out those departments to even be like, oh, every 6 months we want to be. If you introduce a new technology to a company, you are introducing a new source of hazards. Okay. And also there must be responsibility and accountability. Some people must be responsible, when it comes to giving reports on the safety. Every staff must take responsibility, not only the safety officer. People must be accountable. If anything happens, they must be able to say, oh, why did it happen? Who was responsible? Who was on duty? What happened and all that. So people must take responsibility and accountability. I know I've worked with tough company where they don't joke with even that downtime. If there's downtime for 1 minute, even for 1 second, when I was working in the telecommunication industry, if your site is down for 1 second, even in cement plant, if it's down for one second, a particular department must take responsibility. Is it the mechanical fault that causes it? Is it electrical? Is it instrumentation? You see all of them coming together, arguing out point that, oh, we are not the one at fault, you are the one at fault. So there must be accountability also when it comes to safety, not only on the job. So that takes me to explaining, okay. Let's quickly look at JSA, because JSA also cuts across, risk assessment. Now, what is JSA? JSA is known as Job Safety Analysis. If you are with me, say I. Can you please unmute and say I? And then
Hi.
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 So, thank you. That's Thank you. So JSA means job analysis. JSA means job safety analysis. Please just mute yourself. Yes, enough I already. Thank you. Yeah, just mute yourself. JSA is okay. It's okay. Thank you. Please let's mute. Yeah. Thank you so much. Now, what is JSA? JSA means job safety analysis. Now, I don't know if you actually do this in your company. Now, for every task, this is the safety standard. I'm saying it. For every task, no matter how small, mute yourself, please. Mute yourself, please. For every task and responsibility you want to carry out, any project, no matter how small, JSA must be carried out. That's what we call job safety analysis. JSA is a pre-risk analysis of a particular task you want to carry out. Before we do the job, we want to know what are the hazards attached to this task. What are the possible ways that any of the people that are working on this particular task or project can get injured? What are the things that can threaten that hold threat to their life or to their safety? In fact, not only the job, even the environment where they will carry out the job, JSA is an on-site, you have to carry out that word safety analysis. You have to carry it out and be sure that, every angle from where these people can actually suffer threats, either to their health or to their life. And it's always, if you go on internet, you'll see different JSA form. I'm just giving you this sample. Just look at, if it's in the physical class, I always want everybody to prepare JSA, but just look at this from my screen. This is a JSA form, is a sample. You can have different, I just want to show you things that will be there. The task title will be there. What do they want to do? You can say, installation of electric motor on this. Don't mind me if I'm using more of electrical because that's my background. So installation of this, if it's a civil engineer, erection of maybe pillar in this also. So if that is the task, you have to state it. That's the task title. And then there must be where is it happening? The department where is happening, okay? Is it electrical or mechanical? Okay. The analysis, another thing is that JSA must be prepared by everybody that will do the job. It is not a kind of risk analysis that you can do by proxy. It is not people that will not do the job that will go and do it. It is the people that will even do the job that must perform JSA. Everybody must be involved. Why? Because it has to do with their safety. The standard believe that if they carry your safety, they put it in your hands, and you go and do your own JSA, and the JSA finally failed, then you have nobody to blame than to blame yourself. If there's any exposed cable, you are the one that did not spot it when you are doing your JSA that, oh, there's an exposed cable where we will be doing this job. I think it can actually lead to what? Electrical shock or electrocution, and then the company will put all those things in place to know whether they are going to actually what? Remove it, or they are going to, you know, substitute, or they are going to guard it, to build guard around it. If you fail to spot all those problems, then you carry the cross. So how many companies today, you know, actually make their staff to prepare GSA before they go and do a particular task? I doubt if we can actually count 4 or 5 across the nation. But it's a standard, it's the safety standard. You have to prepare your GSA. Okay. Now look at what we have in the GSA. Sequence of the job that you are going to do step by step. Let's say it's the installation of electric motor. Will there be what's it called? The design. Okay. Will there be layout, circuit interpretation, whatever may be the steps that you are going to take? If it's somebody that is building a house, will there be surveying? Will the surveying be done? Will a foundation be laid and everything? You have to break down all the tasks. Why must you break down all the tasks one by one? People that are project manager among us might actually understand. When you break down the task, that is when you can see the hazard attached to them. When you're just looking at a task, you may be confused to know everything that may go wrong. But when you break them to the simplest units, then you can see all of them that, oh, I want to cook, you know, in my kitchen. I must go to market to do the shopping, and then I will fill the gas. Okay, I will wash the dishes, and then I will begin to slice pepper and onion. Now, you can see you want to cook. That's actually the project. But now you have actually taken down all the tasks that will be involved in you cooking that particular meal. Now you now be taking each one by one. In going to market, is there any hazard attached to that? Are there dangers? Oh, there will be some danger. That means that if I'm going to market, I must be careful. There will be frosters. Oh, there will be this, there will be that. Oh, if I'm filling the gas, there may be explosion. Oh, if I'm doing the dishes, I may survive a cut in my hands. If I'm slicing the onions, what about my eyes? You know, what about my finger and all that? You begin to, and then you cannot think of proper way or a better way of you doing the job, or things that you need to actually put in place to mitigate, you know, all the hazards that may occur from it. So in this column here, this is where you list out everything step by step. Now, as I've mentioned, according to the steps 1 that you listed here, you now put the potential hazard. What are the hazards attached to it? The hazard might be what? There may be cut, there may be slip, there may be electrocution. You begin to write all of them. And then what do you now recommend as the action or procedure so that all these things that you have seen as the potential hazards may not happen or may be reduced to the barest minimum? Should there be, you know, PPE? And there some, in most cases, there will be PPE that you will recommend. Oh, these people they are open to cuts here. Okay, let there be hand glove. Let them wear hand glove. What kind of hand glove will they need? Depending on the nature of the machine, the thickness of the hand glove also. will depend on the nature of the machine they are actually using. The length that the hand glove will go, whether it's going to be the one that will reach their elbow, that will just stop on their wrist, you also determine, it's also going to be determined by the nature of the job that they are doing. So that is about JSA. Let me return to my main material. So, and that also control what the risk analysis. Okay, I've spoken about this. I've spoken about this. Yes. Now we want to talk about the hierarchy of controls. Now, in hierarchy of controls of hazards, yes, you may spot hazards. You have identified hazards. We have spoken so much about identification of hazards, because one of the beautiful things you will do yourself in this class is the ability for you to see what is wrong and identify it. If you cannot identify what is wrong, then your safety, I'm sorry, is not guaranteed. When you can be in an environment and you cannot point at 10 or 12 things that are wrong in that place, or that have the potential to even injure anybody, that means that you yourself, you are not safety conscious. So, but now, after you have identified the hazards, there are still some hazards that you may remove completely. There are some of them that you may have to reduce. There are some of them you have to find what different ways. That's what we want to look at. That's what we call hierarchy of controls. Now, don't pay attention to just the control. They are the control, but pay attention to the word hierarchy. Hierarchy means what? Preference. It means that you first try this. If this doesn't work, that's when you try that. Then when you try that, that does not work, then you try another this. Now, when you try this and it does not work, then you try another that. That is hierarchy, okay? You go from one step to another. Now, the first hierarchy of hazard control is elimination. It's always good for us to first look at it. Yes, this hazard that we have spotted, can we eliminate it, that it will not even exist? Trust me, the only best way for us to do that is housekeeping. I said it yesterday. In fact, more than 50% of most of the hazards that we see in factory can actually be eliminated by good housekeeping. When you practice a good housekeeping, somebody just finished doing a job that has to do with what? Oil. And when it's done, he picked a mop and mopped the place so that the oil, the remnant of the oil can actually be cleaned. He cleaned it, dried the surface. Come and tell me how somebody will step on that place and still sleep and fall, except if he's careless. Somebody that spots an exposed cable, reported it to the electrical department. They came there, they retighten it, they put a seal tape around it, okay? Even if it's the one that they cannot repair immediately, they put beware, or they put a poster, bad, do not use. Oh, bad, do not operate. Tell me how the environment will not be safe. That is proper housekeeping. That's the effective way we can actually eliminate, hazards. In most cases, trust me, it's very difficult to achieve, elimination, because most people will still be rough. Go to factory, as you are seeing one careful person, you will see 20 careless and carefree people who do not care. Some people will even put something there. They will put it in their mind that, oh, it's there, so that they will not be harmed by that particular thing. But they do not care, about another person that may go there, who may not know that that thing is there and will sustain injury. And that's where what? Safety culture comes in. Now, after elimination, substitution. If we cannot eliminate, can we substitute? Substitution means that what? Can we change the process by which the job is going to be done? Instead of us doing this job manually, can we do it automatically? Manually, we make our staff somebody to interact with what? The machine. Can we operate the machine automatically? If you can do that, then you might have, saved a lot of problems by substituting what? The process. So we try substitution to say, okay, fine. Instead of people to go into this place, and that's what you see that what the whole world is achieving through with AI. Why would people go to war and just be losing men? Can we send robots? Can we send machines to war? There are some units that we may want to go and perform maintenance. Instead of us to enter that place as human beings, can we actually build some robots that can go in there and do the maintenance? We know that when we lose a robot, it's better than losing a life. It's better than losing somebody. I've seen a documentary of where the robots are the one that actually doing what what we normally call manual handling. Okay, that's carrying a load. Instead of human being doing the job, to be carrying load, to be having a problem with their spinal cord over years. Can we build robots that they will be the one that will be packing the load, and they program them in such a way that they are not even colliding? And what human being will even pack, if you are going to pack 100 pieces, the robot will pack it within the time that you will use. They will pack about 2,000. If there is a system like that that we can put in place, then we can save a lot of problems from humanity. Because the only thing we do to robots is just maintain them, is to oil where we're supposed to oil, update the programming, and all sorts. If the substitution is not possible, can we isolate? Isolation means that you building a guard around a machine. If there's a machine that can cut somebody's hand, can we build a guard around it? If you observe, look at the grinding machine, it has a guard around it. I gave you an example of a knife also yesterday. That's the invention of a knife that we are using today. In those days, it used to be, the handle of the knife used to be built with a wooden, handle. Over time, they changed it to rubber. They improved on it so that, okay, fine, we can protect the person that is actually using it. So we can build guard to isolate the machine so that the operator will not be able to interact with the machine by any part of his body. If that is not possible, can we actually do engineering control? Engineering control means that there are some machines that you may have to redesign them because they are not fit. If you normally follow up, there are some companies that when they release a particular product, especially vehicles, I don't want to be mentioning names, when they release the vehicle into the market and they begin to now have a lot of safety, complaint about the vehicle. I've had this before, that they have to call back all those vehicles from the market. They call all of them back, which means that if you have bought it, you have to also return it, and they redesign them before they now put them back to the market. So engineering control also work. Administration, which is very important. You can see the hierarchy. Administration is so effective to the extent that it's the one that will actually control the human behavioral attitude that are against safety. Policies, procedures. I hope you are looking at my screen. Policies, procedures, training. You have to train people. Sometimes for them to use, I've seen companies where they will just give a staff PPE. Is wrong. You cannot assume that people know how to use PPE. You have to train them. Don't say, oh, it's safety boot. You have to let him know that this is how to tie the lace of your safety boot. You don't just tie the lace of your safety boot as if you want to do fashion inside the plant. It is meant to protect your leg. Wear it properly. Wear the helmet properly. Don't button off your coverall. Your coverall is meant to cover you. Don't wear your coverall and be rolling off the sleeves. There is no gain in it. People that did coverall or overall, they did it with long sleeves. They know what they are doing. It's to protect you up to your wrist. You are not to wear it and just be rolling it up. Or as some ladies engineer will do, they will remove the arms, the two arms, and they will now tie it to their stomach, and then still be walking up and down in the factory. And the safety officer will be saying that. The supervisor will be saying that. Nobody will complain about it. These are wrong ways. Administrations will actually put this. It will put it into place and do a lot of what? Correction. Now, the last but not the least is the PPE. If we cannot achieve all these other things, yes, we must now hand over people's safety in their own hands. Wear these to protect yourself. That is what PPE. And that is the hierarchy of control. I don't want to be that. So let's look at the flow chart again together. Let's look at the flow chart together. I'm going to be touching it and then you'll be seeing it. The question is, can you eliminate the hazard? If it is yes, eliminate it. But if it is no, then you come down. Can you reduce its risk since you cannot eliminate it? Oh, yes, let us reduce it. oh no, we cannot reduce it. Oh, that means that what? Can we isolate it then? Reducing means that what? Substitution. But if we cannot substitute, can we isolate? Oh, yes, we can isolate. Then isolate. You build barriers between the human and also the machines. But if you cannot isolate, can you control the hazard or reduce the risk by administrative method, by setting policies, by setting guides, by setting procedures? This is what you must do before you enter here. You must do this before you enter there. You must do that and that, so that you guide people on how to work safely. Then we need to introduce that. And then PPE comes. Now, somebody will ask a question. Why do we have to go through all this if we can just actually use PPE? Why do we have to go through all this if we can what? Just use what? PPE. Okay. Just give me a minute. Now I want to show you a picture. It's a funny picture anyway, but it's still not funny. Anything about safety is not funny. So I want to show you a picture. Okay. Okay. So from my material, I want to show you a picture, because somebody will ask, since we have all this hierarchy, why do we have to go through all this stress? If I can just give people PPE, oh, let your safety be in your hands. If you like, protect yourself. If you like, don't protect yourself. So if we can do that, why do we have to go through, the engineering control, the elimination, substitution, and all sorts, as I've actually mentioned? Then it is very important that we address that. I want to show you the picture. It's a funny picture, but it has to do with safety. Like I said earlier, it is not it's not funny. Just give me a minute. I just hope everyone can hear me. People on Facebook, moderator, do we have our people in that on Facebook, sir?
Yes, we have every channel up and running.
Okay,
You can go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, so look at the picture. This is the picture I want to show you. So you can see, some of you wonder, when did does a rat start wearing helmets? So this is the rat. These rats want to get this food, but it knows that there is danger there. So there is danger around here. Of course, many of us people in the 80s and 90s, they will remember this method of killing rats at home. Okay, so once the rat puts his mouth here, this will be activated, and the metal will actually is to hit his head. So now the rat is actually wearing a helmet. So the rat can just move close, just go and take the food. If the metal wants to hit him, it will only hit the helmet and it will still escape. Now, this has always been the mindset of some of the company. They don't go through all these things that I analyzed. They don't bother themselves with elimination. They don't bother themselves with substitution. They don't have policy. They don't have safety policy. All they just do is that employ people, and they do that when they give them their fake PPE, everything will be all right. But in safety, that is very wrong. PPE should be considered only. Please note that. PPE should be considered only after other control measures have been tried and shown not to be feasible. It is only when you have tried other methods. That's why when PPE is the last resort. That's why we always call it the last resort. Because when nothing can protect you, your safety is now in your hands. That is the last resort. It means that they want you to actually do whatever you can do to actually ensure that you are safe. So PPE is not the first thing, it's always the last. So we should actually note this in PPE. And this brings me to just showing you, of course, many of us will be familiar with all this. Okay, these are PPE, this is the harness. For those that do work at height, this is the harness. Okay, this is ear muff. There is a difference between ear muffs and ear plug. Depending on the level of noise, this is preferable if you are working in mines or where there is much noise. And this is just, a plug-in, just plug into your ear, just the same way your earpiece actually work. So you can just plug it in if the noise level is not that much. Okay, this is your cover. Okay, you can see all these that are against the safety. Look at what this man is doing. He's resting in between the tires. Just imagine if there is no inspection, if the person that wants to operate this heavy duty vehicle, if they want to just start the vehicle, they just start it. This man is going to be grounded in between here. These are, especially those people that work at sites. They are tired. They just want to rest somewhere. Look at this man that is working here. He's supposed to put on harness, but he's not putting on the harness. Look at this man. He does not have the proper shield. So he's the one that created these glasses. He just kind of will I say he's foolishly creative. So he created this for himself. Look at this man, no glove. He's doing an electrical work on an electrical pole. Look at him. There's no harness. These are wrong ways. Look at this man on the ladder. Okay. Maybe he's posing for picture or anything whatsoever. These are wrong things, wrong way, wrong way. Please avoid all these. They are against the safety. So let's quickly look at the safety signage and barricades, okay? Talking about safety communications. These are various ways we can communicate what safety at workplace. You have to watch out for safety signage and barricades. Sometimes when there is a job ongoing, you will see something like ribbon being fenced around the place. Pay attention to all this. It is very important. Safety meetings, okay? If you are a supervisor or a safety officer attending this training, or you are a manager, or you are an engineer, please pay attention to all this. Safety trainings, safety meetings, emergency alarms should be put in place. MSDS, material safety data sheets, okay? Safety handbook and leaflets. Every company is supposed to have safety handbook. Just as you have a school handbook when you go to school, that will actually tell you, some things about what safety is. Now, I want us to pay attention to the color. When you see those one in red, it means prohibitive, meaning that you must not do it. Either you must not enter a particular place or you must not do a particular thing in that place. Red means danger, don't do. Blue means that mandatory, you have to do that particular thing. Most times when you see that they put helmet, it means that you must, if it's in blue color, you must wear helmet before you enter that place. So blue means something mandatory you must do. Red means that something you must not do. Yellow means hazard warning. There's a caution. They are cautioning you. So actually show you that, there is a danger here, okay, for you to actually be aware of the hazard in that place. Green means that you are safe. You can go ahead. In fact, you can relax in that place. Anywhere you see green, it means that you can stand there. You can relax in that particular place. You can feel at home in that particular place. Orange means warning. Okay, there is a warning. So let me now show you some of those colors. Look at them. I have the yellow. What do I call yellow again? What do I call yellow?
Warning.
Warning. Thank you.
Warning.
Yeah, thank you. Prohibition. Red. You can see the place. Caution is that mind your head. They are warning you. Okay? Mind your head. They are Look at the blue, like I said, it means that this one means you must put on your helmet. Okay? This green is the assembly place. Maybe in case of emergency, you can gather here, you are safe. This is fire extinguisher, red, still showing you that this is danger. Okay? So it's very important that we take note of all these. And I made mention of W yesterday, permit to work, that there are some jobs that you may want to carry out, you need a permit. Confined space need permits. If you are working on an electrically energized equipment, you need permit for it. So on that note, you have to take note of the permit that you also have. We have types of permits. General permit, which is code work. Code work means that there is not going to be ignition in that particular unit when you are doing the job. So, okay, fine, we know that there may not be a case of fire outbreak or anything. But if you are going for hot work, where there may be ignition, where there may be combustible materials, or you may ignite or flammable materials, then there must be some permit, like in confined space entry also. These are, things that you need to actually pay attention to. So this takes me to talking about our next training, which is fire safety. So welcome to fire safety, everyone. Welcome to fire safety training. And in this training, talk about fire safety, because there's a lot of threats to safety and health of staff, when it comes to, possible fire outbreak. If you have witnessed, an incident of fire outbreak at work before, then you can attest to what I'm talking about. Or if you have personally experienced it, it comes with chaos, it comes with emotions, it comes with fear, it comes with shock, and a whole lot of things can actually be occurring. So I'm displaying this picture for me to actually explain what fire is. What is fire? Fire is all these three things that you are seeing on my screen. We call it fire triangle. There is no fire without oxygen. There is no fire without heat, and there is no fire without fuel. These three things must actually come together to make a fire. Now, I will give you an example. Okay, let me give you an example. For those of us who have used stove to cook before, your fuel in that stove, we can say, is your wick. That one that you normally dip inside the kerosene. Okay, and this fuel that you are using, the kerosene and even the wick that you are using together, they are the fuel, needs heat. There is a level of heat. Okay, that's why you see that if water has poured on them, the stove may not actually be working. There may not be fire, because there is a level of combustible heat that every material may burn when they get that particular heat level. So there must be heat and there must be oxygen. If you cover fire and the fire does not interact with any oxygen, definitely it will go off. And that's what we normally demonstrate in most of our practical demonstration, where we use a smoldering method to take out fire. There's what we call fire blankets. If you cover, if you are, of course, it's advisable even for women to have it in their kitchen. If, let's say, you are frying plantain and then you overboil the oil, there are some situations that the oil and the frying pan can catch fire together. So if you are able to get a fire blanket and you use it to cover down that particular pot, the fire will go off. What is the fire blanket doing? It's separating that particular material from oxygen. So the process of taking out fire or extinguishing fire is the process of attacking any of these elements. If you want to extinguish fire, most of the fire extinguishers, what do they use? They can build them to fight oxygen. So some fire extinguisher will fight the oxygen, knowing that once the oxygen is out of the place, the fire will go off. Once any of these three elements is out, if you can take care of them, then the fire is out. If you can remove the fuel that is burning, if it's firewood, once you remove the wood from the fire, by experience, you know that that fire will start quenching, you start going down. So these are the experience. Okay, so if you can fight the fuel, you fight the fuel. If you can fight the oxygen, you fight the oxygen. If you can fight the heat itself. And that's why you see sometimes when you want to, if you have a stubborn stove, some people will even carry water. They will just pour it on the stove. That's because they want to bring down the heat. They want to quench the fire by bringing down the heat. So these are the three components that make up the fire. So let me share the file that we are using for this. Thank you. So fire safety. So why do we want to actually discuss this? We want to discuss how you can actually prevent fire incidents at work. So I want you to be paying attention to my screen. Look at these two, look at this diagram. So you can see if you work in your place of, or even at home, you normally plug things like this. Okay, you are actually endangering yourself with fire incident. Cables must be neatly laid, even if you are going to lay them down. This is not approved, but this is approved. Okay, so you can have that. Let us look at the fire emergencies. Now, there is an acronym that we use in fire emergency when there is fire incident. There is fire incident. Okay, what are the things that you need to remember? You need to remember the word raise. The word raise. Okay, so when you remember the word raise, what does it mean? R means that word rescue. Okay, A means alarm. You sound the alarm. C means contain fire, and E means extinguish the fire. But in case you cannot extinguish the fire, evacuate. Now let's look at them one by one. Rescue. What do you mean by rescue? You need to learn how to, if you are in your place of work and there's fire, a case of fire, you need to actually look for those people who may be helpless that you need to rescue. There may be somebody who is physically challenged. You know, we normally do a lot of demonstration of this whenever we are doing our fire safety drill. Okay, how do you rescue people? Okay, look at the picture here. So there may be people that you need to rescue. So you need to actually look out for people to rescue. The other thing about rescuing is that you must know your evacuation route. If you are not safe yourself, you cannot save others. If evacuation route means that, you know, a company must actually have a route of fire exit. That is, in case of fire, the emergency exit must always be there, and it must not be blocked. That is the exit that leads people out. It's the fastest route in the company that they know that it will make people to actually be out. It's not always opened. It's unless there is an emergency, and it must not be blocked. So in your place of work, if you have not observed your emergency exit in your place of work, go and ask your safety officer, or you try to actually look at the layout. The emergency exit must be something that every staff must actually know. Okay, so before you can rescue others, you must be sure that you can rescue yourself too. So the A that follow from the word raise, don't forget that we are using the acronym RAISE. Okay, so alarm, sound the alarm, raise the alarm. If your company does not have the alarm system, use your mouth for the alarm. Fire, 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 shout. Let everybody be alert that there is fire outbreak, because fire grows very fast. It's not the time for you to be doing a fashion, or you are not saying, oh, fire, I think there's a fire outbreak there. You are speaking grammar. No. It's an emergency. React to it as emergency. It's not that you are panicking, but you have to raise the alarm. But in most cases, if the company is standard, there must be a fire alarm that you can pull. So you pull the fire alarm. Once you pull it, you know, every staff must have been trained to know the sound of fire alarm. So that's another thing. If people don't know the sound of fire alarm, they will think that is an alarm that want to start an equipment. I've worked in companies where if they want to start any equipment, there's always an alarm. So that alarm is always to tell people if you are resting on the machine that they're about to start, you need to leave that place. So the alarm is the first thing that will first ring. So everybody will clear off that particular unit. They know that they want to start that machine. If you know that the machine will make a hell out of noise, you quickly plug in your earmuff or your earplug. So fire alarm is different. So you need to actually know your own fire alarm, or you call the emergency number. The emergency number, which I know is actually working now in Nigeria, is 112. I have a lot of people who have testified to it. 112 still work. Okay, that's the emergency alarm that you can actually use. You can raise emergency by either pulling the fire alarm, or you call the emergency number, so that they will be at alert to also get ready to come and fight the fire and take it out. Okay. Next, confine or contain the fire. Can you confine it? Yes, you can confine it. Don't forget that I told you that the components, the 3 components of fire. Okay. Is there anybody that can mention it for me? 3 components of fire. Anybody raise your hand? Let the moderator call you. Let the moderator call you. Component of fire. Moderator.
We have six. Please raise your hand if you want to talk. I want to be raise your hand.
Abiodun Mustafa. Abiodun Mustafa, you can unmute.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Is the three angle of fire? That's oxygen, heat, and fuel.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. I can see Joseph Humphrey. Can unmute yourself. Joseph Humphrey, are you there?
Yes, we have oxygen and we have fuel. We have it.
Thank you very much. We have fuel, and then we have heat. So, and I said that if you want to quench fire, don't take out any of this. The fire we want will be out. That is what we mean by contain. So when you are running out, as you are running out, escaping from the case of fire incident, remember to close the doors. As you are shutting the doors, what are you doing? You are reducing the amount of oxygen that may be coming in. So when the air, you are suffocating the fire. When you suffocate the fire such that it cannot breathe, you may actually, end up being able to actually slow down the rate of growth of that fire. It doesn't mean that the fire will be out, but you are slowing down the rate of growth of that fire. Instead of the fire to become, a furnace within 5 or 10 minutes, you may be able to buy time before the fire emergency unit arrive. Close the door, but do not lock them. It is very important. That may be the exit route for somebody who is trapped in. So don't lock them, but you can close them as you are running out. The E is what? You either extinguish or you evacuate. I always want people, do not behave like you are the, what is this character? You are the James Bond or you are the Spider-Man. Fire extinguisher can only be used to fight small amount of fire. You can't see a whole unit already engulfed with fire and then you carry a small fire extinguisher and say you want to fight it. No. That may be what? That may require the fire unit who will bring their tanker and stand at a distance from it and then fight the fire. But can you actually use fire extinguisher? Yes, if you can do that. But if you cannot, make sure that you evacuate. And that is why when you are using your fire extinguisher, you must not turn your back to the wall. Your back must be to the exit. This is what I mean. Let me analyze. If this is the exit, this is the exit. Fire is burning here. This is fire that is burning. This is you that want to fight fire. This is the right way you can actually face fire. Okay, when you are standing at a particular feet away from the fire, this is you holding what? The fire extinguisher. As you are actually what? Using the fire extinguisher to fight this fire, let your back be towards the exit. Why is it like that? In most cases, when you are using fire extinguisher and the fire is more than what you can actually contain, what do? You'll be reversing. You'll be reversing. You'll be reversing. As the fire is advancing towards you, reverse. Once you get to this place, what do? You japa, you exit. Just imagine if you do not do that. If your back is against the wall, let's say this is the place, this place is not an exit. You can't escape, it's a wall. And you are fighting fire here. Fire keep on advancing. You are moving back. You are moving back. When you get to the wall here, what will happen to you? You become the food for fire yourself. Because you can't escape. That is the skill that is needed. When you are using your fire extinguisher, turn your back to the exit so that you can escape. Never turn your back to the wall. where you'll be obstructed and fire will catch you down there and feed on you. So it's very important. So you can see this person here. This is the one fighting fire here. But now the fire could not be quenched. What is he doing? He's running out. Okay, he's exiting. So if it be anybody, if it be you, like the popular adverts, so try to actually learn that skill. Responding to fire, okay, evacuating plan. You must know the exit routes. I've mentioned that. Location of fire extinguishers in your company, you must know it. Many people don't know where the fire extinguishers are. They just see them. Like if there is fire incident now, you should know that, oh, that's where fire extinguisher is, and you can go there. Okay. You may be locked down in a particular place by fire. If you don't know where the fire extinguisher is, you can't risk your life coming out because you don't know if you are going to get one. Location of what? Full station. Then you must actually know all this. Now let me go into this. You must also know the emergency number. Like I've mentioned, if you call 112, 112 is for police response, FRS response, fire unit response in Nigeria. Yes, 112 still works. I've seen people, in fact, I was in a training where I was saying that, is anything even working in this country? And somebody had to shut me up and said, yes, she tried 112 and they came. And there was a day, somebody called me. There was a fire incident in the house adjacent to our house. And knowing my job, she had to call me. Please, sir, I don't know the number to call. Which emergency number can I call? There's fire burning the house beside their house. And they know that if the fire is done with the house, their house is the next one. I just told her 112. And then, lo and behold, I left her like after some hours. I just called her. How far? I said, thank you so much. That she became is it the heroine you call them as a woman of the day, that she saved the day. That if not, nobody had the number. It was she that made the call and they arrived and quenched the fire. Since that day, I don't talk, I don't speak ill of our emergency toll line again. And it's toll free. You don't have to have your recharge card or anything whatsoever. 112 is there for you. If you are trapped in a room, what do you do? And there is fire burning. Now, these are the skills that you can actually apply. Let's say you are in your department.
James, sir, can you share your screen?
I'm sharing my screen. Can you see my screen? You can see my screen. Please say hi.
No, we cannot see your screen.
Yes, somebody is sharing the screen.
Can you mute your mic, please?
Someone else is sharing the screen. There is somebody that is sharing the screen with me. That is why they couldn't see my screen.
Please reshare yours. I've sorted that. The person has been removed. We sent out yesterday.
Can you see my screen now?
Your screen is off. Now.
So if you are trapped in a room or in your faculty or your department, okay, and there is fire burning, what do you do? The first thing you can do for yourself is to place wet material at the base of the door. So like this, you can place wet material. It will actually mitigate the heat that will be coming. Let's say there is fire burning in the other room. So it will mitigate the heat that will be coming through that place, and the fire will not be able to travel, because fire is just like air. It can pass under the door. It can, just to find its way if the other room cannot contain it again. Close all doors between you and fire. Be prepared to signal from the window. If you are trapped inside, you must actually get a white material, because it's only white material that is visible in fire. So you can hang down your white handkerchief through the window so that people outside can see you. That's how they can see you. If you are hanging a black cloth, there is black color among some fire that burn. There will be black smoke. If you're hanging down red, they may not see your own color. They will still see it like fire. But if you hang down white, there's no fire that burn white. except if you have what white man. In fact, if you can hang down your white handkerchief, that's when they can see that somebody is actually up there trapped. So that is how you can give signal when you are trapped in. What about burns, okay? Or when you have a severe fire event, what do? You are trapped in and you want to actually move yourself to a safe unit. Now, in most cases, what people do is that they start running. That is the wrong thing to do. The smoke, from fire actually weakens it. It makes you to actually, when you inhale it, within 5 or 10 or 15 minutes, you lose your strength. You cannot move again. And because experimentally, the clean air, that's the clean oxygen, is denser than the smoke. Many of us that did the science background will remember density. So when you say density, it means that if you have oxygen in that room, oxygen will go down and the smoke will be up like this. Because oxygen, pure oxygen, is denser, is heavier than smoke. So it will come down. So the only way you can survive, if you are standing, what you will be breathing in is this smoke. And that will be dangerous for you. So for you to actually breathe in some little amount of oxygen, you need to bend down like this man. You bend down, you can go all four, your 2 hands on the ground, your knees, and you start crawling. As you are crawling, if you have a cloth, you can be using it to filter, just to be covering your nose and everything. If you see that you are not still breathing well like this, okay, if you see me demonstrating this in physical training, then you see that it's not a child's play. You may have to lie down on your chest, lie down flat, this is you, and start crawling. When you are crawling, do not run. When you are crawling, use your hand, stretch your hand like this, arm stretch. This one I'm drawing is arm stretch. Stretch it and move it, up and down to check if there is an obstacle. Because it will not be good for you to be running from fire and then you hit your head on a blade. So use your hand, stretch it forward, up and down to check if there's no obstacle. Then you move 2 steps again. You check again, you move 2 steps. Drop to your hands and knees and crawl to a safe area. Hold your breath as much as possible. Breathe shallowly. This is not the time for you to actually be breathing in all the air that are coming. Make sure that you limit the amount of, because whether you like it or not, there will still be little amount of smoke that will be coming in. Okay. What if your body now catch fire? Okay, your body is burning with fire, your clothes. Don't run. Don't say help. Don't run. When you are running, you'll be gathering oxygen and the fire will be growing bigger. What you need to do is to drop on the floor. You stop. Stop like this man, this lady here, or man, drop on the floor and start rolling. When you are rolling on the floor, when I say roll, I don't mean that you should be rolling like this. You roll to and fro. There's a way you roll. Let me show you with my arrow. You roll like this, you roll back. You roll like this, you roll back. What are you doing? You are trying to suffocate the fire. As you are suffocating the fire, okay, rolling up and down, then the fire, luckily, it will be out of your body. You'll be able to quench the fire. But if you run, the fire will grow bigger. So these are the skills for us to actually learn. Now, let me briefly talk about the classification of fire. We have class A. Class A type of fire. Why is it important for you to know the classes of fire? So that you don't use a wrong fire extinguisher to fight fire. If you use a wrong fire extinguisher to fight fire, you will end up aggravating that fire. And that's what you see many people, when fire is burning, they say, carry homo, carry sand, carry water. It's not all fire you fight with water. I have so many experience that I can share with you, but that may just be taking your time. In fact, I've been in a place before. I was walking in a street. I was just passing that street, and then I saw a very big crowd. A particular bus was about to burn to ashes, and they were pouring water. They were pouring water upon water. I just stood far from that place because I knew that they don't even know the source of fire. They don't know what is burning. They are using water. As they are pouring water, the fire was growing bigger. So when I inquired, the fire actually started from an electrical source. You can imagine, electrical source, maybe the battery terminal was still connected and they are just pouring water. Until luckily for that person, I just heard somebody discussing around that place. And there is fire extinguisher, nobody know how to operate it. And that was when I swept into action. I snatch, let me use the word snatch, the fire extinguisher from the person. Order them to raise the bus, just to raise the base for me, because that's another thing. You have to aim your fire extinguisher at the base. And I quenched the fire and became the hero of the day. You were looking at me, but I couldn't introduce myself. It's my job. I've faced, fire incidents in my car also before. In fact, that day, I would have lost my car. But thank God that the fire extinguisher in the car is actually fully charged. And that's why, when, government is, FRS is, they are stopping you on the road and everything, you will know that these things are actually for your safety. Thank God for the fire extinguisher that day. I stopped immediately, just entered a particular street, opened the bonnet, and then I had to spray the fire extinguisher. And what could have caused, a lot of havoc, within 5 minutes or so, the fire was out. So, knowing how to use your fire extinguisher is very important, and pay attention to it. With this training, if you don't know how to use fire extinguisher, after this training, you should know how to use it. So, class A is when you have wood, paper, clothes. If those the one that they are the one burning, we call them class A fire. Class B fire, if it's flammable liquid like your kerosene, your grease, your oil, your paint, your solvents, anything flammable is the one that is burning. Because you have to know what is burning before you fight fire. Class C is electrical energized equipment. And let me tell you, nothing concerns you if there is what power supply or not. If you see any equipment and you see that the plug is still inside the socket, whether there is power there or not, we classify it as class C. It has become class C. If your phone is plugged down, whether there is power supply or not, even as long as it is still plugged into the socket, it is class C in safety terms. Class D is combustible metal. You hardly encounter this, except in some, some unique kind of a job where you will be dealing with what metal like this burning. Yes, you hardly encounter this. Class K is when you have commercial cooking equipment, like your cooking oil, your animal fat, your vegetable oils. I put a whole lot of examples here. So let's look at fire extinguishers. This is your fire extinguisher. Please pay attention. This is your pressure gauge. This green, when you see the pointer on this green, it means that this fire extinguisher is charged. It is loaded. When you are not seeing this pointer, look at this pointer here. Look at this pointer. If the pointer is not on green, it means that they have used it, and you'll still be thinking that you have fire extinguisher. When there is fire outbreak, that's when you will know that what it is not charged. So you should check, go around your company and see the fire extinguisher. If the gauge is there, although it's not all of them that normally have the gauge, I'm still going to talk about that. Okay. This is the security pin and tie. This one is actually being put there to ensure that you don't just press this lever and just discharge it. It is only when you are ready to use it, that's when you pull out the pin. And then this is the state fire marshal, the tag, okay, on it. So actually shows that you don't just have the fire extinguisher. You know that what it is not what expired. The container also should not actually be sold that has expired, or the content also was expired. So using fire extinguisher, remember these acronyms, and then you can use your fire extinguisher. Remember the acronyms: PASS. P, you pull the pin. So this is your finger. Just pull the pin. The pin that you are seeing in that place, pull the pin. If you have the tag on it, aim at that tag and first drag the tag. When you drag the tag will cut, and then you pull out the pin. Because if you don't pull out the pin, you won't be able to press this lever. Okay. So press the lever, but you must aim at the base of the fire. That's the mistake that people make, especially if you are using fire extinguisher for the first time. Some people fight the smoke rather than fighting the fire. What is burning is still down here. okay? But the smoke is up here. So when they are positioning their hand, they aim at this smoke rather than aiming at the base. So you have to aim at the base, because when you quench what is burning, the smoke will die. But if you keep on fighting the smoke, what is burning will produce more for you to fight. Do you get that, please? If you get that, say yes, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So you aim
Yes.
at the altar, aim at the base of the fire. Aim
Yes.
at the base. Let your fire extinguisher be directed to the base of what is burning. Then you squeeze, okay? You squeeze this lever, you press it together, and then you start sweeping right and left. You are sweeping right and left to ensure that you fight entirely the whole surface area where you have this particular thing that is actually burning. So this is how you make use of your fire extinguisher. Pull the pin, aim, squeeze, and sweep. It does not require more than that. Okay, and then you have everything intact. So the last thing I will be discussing, so let me quickly move to that. Yes, I've been able to hit my targets tonight, and I'm very, very glad with that. So the last thing I want to discuss is our electrical safety. Yes, very important. Electrical safety. Okay, I'm bringing that up now. Yes, electrical safety. Yes, why you need to actually learn about electrical safety is that we all get to interact with this. Whether you're an electrician at work, you're a mechanical man, the equipment you are using is actually using power supply. So the overview of this is that you have to be aware that there are electrical hazards. And what I'm discussing is that most of the fire incidents at workplace sometimes result from the electrical hazards. And because many people are not aware, okay, they are not always, or they believe that they are not the electrical man. Some people fear, anything electricity a lot. So anything that has to do with electrical hazard, they run away from it. They don't pay attention to it. But you have to pay attention to it and report it. What are the things that can result? You can have electrical shock, okay? Direct contact to electrical circuits. This can be from arcing, okay? This can be from electricity passing through the air, okay? Injury resulting from electrical shock, sometimes range from minor burns or death. Electrical injury, like this injury you are seeing on my screen, this electrical injury is always very, very, very critical. Electrical shock, burns, electrocution, falls caused from shock, severity of electrical injury, sometimes depends on the amount of current or length of time that it passed through the body. Okay, so what do we need to actually learn about this? You need to understand that there are electrical hazards and recognize them. And the best way for you to ensure that our electrical safety is actually in place is for you to actually recognize that there is a threat. When you see an exposed cable, there is a threat. The equipment that you are using, if you are an operator, when you see that the cable has pulled out, do not shut your mouth. Don't manage it. Don't use tape to hang it. It can cause anything. Electrical safety is so important because, the injury that comes from it is a direct threat to life. There are some machines that all they can do is to chop off your hand. You can still be alive. But when it comes to electrical can take life. Electrical fault can take life. And that's why it's very important. Evaluate the kind of risk it is and put the control measures there. Okay? You must plan the job and must note the potential electrical hazard. Okay? Identify them. Look at this diagram that I'm showing you. It is so dangerous. Okay? If anything like this, look like this at your place of work, it is so dangerous. Go back and correct all these things. Look at this junction here. This is an overload. Overload can result to fire outbreak. And you can be surprised that even the circuit breaker that's supposed to protect overload may not activate. We have seen some cases like that where the circuit breaker will be faulty. and instead of the circuit breaker to actually break out so that the overload will not occur, instead of that, it will be fire outbreak. It is very important that you learn to prevent the occurrence of fire than for you to plan on what containing the fire when it has actually what happened. It is very, very important. Okay. Look at all this. You must the requirement is that every staff, whether you are an electrician or not, you must actually identify in your department, you know, the spots where there can be fire outbreak due to electrical faults. You must know in your department the spots where there can be fire outbreak, either due to electrical or not, but most especially where if you have electrical fault, there can be fire outbreak, whether you're an electrician or not. You have to note all those units, okay? And try to remove what the electrical hazards, and that's what I will be sharing last. That's the tips. Always test a circuit or wire before working on it to ensure it is what? De-energized. When you are taking permits on your machine, don't send your friend. Make sure you go there yourself to electrical department and stay there until they de-energize the equipment. Don't work on trust. We have seen cases where people work on trust and maybe they have beef with their friend and their friend will return the fuse and they die. Two things that you must ensure is being put in place when you're working on equipment. We call it logout, lockout, or some people call it log, or lockout, tag out. Lockout means that the breaker must be locked. The padlock must be put there. You are the one that will hold the key. You are the one working there. The key must be with you, who is going to work on the equipment that is being supplied by that electrical breaker. There must be a tag that must be put on it. Work ongoing. Do not switch on. That's the paper they will put there. And you also will have a copy with yourself. Because you never can tell. Somebody can come here and say, who is the person that even locked this place up? Don't they know that this machine needs to work? And they will start breaking the padlock. That's why the paper is being put there. There are men at work. Do not switch on. It is very important. Lock out and tag out all involved circuits and machines. Prevent overloading of a circuit. Prevent electrical shock by using the grounding. All your equipment must be well grounded. That's earthing. I don't want to be using much electrical terms, but you must always call the electrical department. Let them come and check the machine. It's better for you to assess the machine than for you to rush in completing the job. I told you yesterday, you are the one that will receive the major pain. There is no company that will continue paying you if you die on the job. They will not continue paying your family. If you are amputated, you will only be out of the job. They can only pity you and pay some remuneration, and that will be just once. Nobody will place you on salary, eternal salary, when you are no more useful for the company. Care so much about your own safety. Do not attempt any task for which you are not properly trained. If you are not trained on the job, you don't know the nitty-gritty of the job, or the technical know-how of the job is still shady to you, do not attempt it. You should always wear appropriate PPE. I've done a training before where somebody confessed wearing the hand glove or the mechanical hand glove doing an electrical job. That is wrong. Electrical glove, how will you know it? It is rubber. When you touch electrical glove, it is rubber. And it has a level of protection. It is not meant for you to be going to be touching live cable when you wear the glove. The glove is only there that if there's a little amount of current that's supposed to flow through you, at least it will not actually pass through your hand. But not that you are going to wear the glove and go and be touching live cable and say that I'm protected and be betting money. Don't do that. And when you look at the thickness of the glove, it will also tell you the level of voltage it can protect. There are gloves that can only protect you when you are working on a single phase, 220 volts, 240 volts. There are gloves like the one that the NEPA normally wear that can protect you when you are working on 415 or in transformer. But Wearing your PPE doesn't mean that you should go and dare accidents. Wearing your PPE doesn't mean that you should go and dare hazard. Do not do that. PPE is just for all this last man standing, that if there's even a mistake, but peradventure, instead of you to get hurt, the PPE will protect you. It's not for you to go and be getting money. Have a safety culture. It is very, very important. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will stop here to give room for questions. On that note, if you have been with me all throughout, moderator, please permit me to do this. Say aye.
Hi.
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 Let's have questions. Let's have questions.
Okay, thank you very much, resource person. Mr. James Fanny, we appreciate you a whole lot. Thank you for that wonderful session. Okay, so quickly, let us go straight to questions. So, if you have a question for us, for the resource person, let me see your hands. Just signify by raising up your hands. A whole lot has been discussed. So please, if you have questions, let us hear from you. So please kindly signify by raising up your hands. And if you are in a place you can't talk at the moment, you can drop it in the in-message session. Okay. Okay, so let's start with questions. Let me check our YouTube channel as well to see if there's any. Okay, so questions. Let's see your hands. Okay. Henry Wilfred, you can unmute your mic.
Okay. Can I talk now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, you discussed about effects of vibration yesterday. How do we contain vibration as a hazard? Also, how do we contain it so we don't have that effect of those while you are old, those effects where your hands starts to shake? I'm curious to know about it.
How do you compare? Is that what you said?
Did you get control? How do you control so you don't have that effect? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're working with some vibrating equipment. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So, do we have any other person? Any other question? So, please, if you have your question, just signify or drop it in the comment section. So, before I bring up the resource person to respond to them. So, any other one? Any other question? Okay. So, Abiodun Mustafa is saying, thank you for the class. It was very interesting, sir. What is the best method to escape in an environment that is engulfed with much smoke? Okay. So that's the other question that we have so far. Okay, so let me bring up resource person, Mr. James Fanny, to please respond to those questions. Mr. James, over to you, sir. Okay, Mr. James, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I am not in a super quiet environment, but I will try. So, the first question, I think the person that just asked the question, I was asking about how do we contain vibration? Did I hear correctly?
Yes, how do you control the vibration?
How do you contain it? Yeah, how do you control it? How do you contain it if your job has to do with vibration? Well, of course, we have, we have some PPEs for vibrations. There are some PPEs that we normally use for vibration. The only problem is that people don't normally use it, or most companies don't pay attention to it. For example, we have anti-vibration gloves. We call them anti-vibe gloves. So there are some gloves that are specially designed, for just to protect you against the vibration, because most of the tools that vibrate with your body and all that, most of them comes in contact with your hand first. So if you can put on these anti-vibration gloves that we call anti-vibe gloves, it can actually reduce the level of vibration that you may actually experience while using them. We also have vibration dampening tool handles. So there are some equipment that are actually built to dampen the vibrations that you may receive. So it's just like an handle that it's also handheld. So it's the one that will come in contact with the machine that you're actually using. So we call them vibration dampening tool handles. So you can use this. So I think I can say, these two solutions to that just for now. So you can use anti-vibe gloves, or you can use a vibration dampening tools to control that. So yes,
Okay,
that would be
just
all
to
for that.
add to what the resource person have
Who
said,
is speaking, please? Who is speaking, please? If you want to,
there are industrial standards
if you want to make any contribution, just signify and call on you.
NUPRC and of course international standards. You got to do vibration analysis to identify. You have to put other factors in place to ensure that vibration is not
Oh, sorry, I never knew my microphone was on mute. Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. James. So please, if you have any question, please just signify so I will call on you, or if you have any contribution. So Mr. James, we have another question in the comment section. Someone is asking, Abiodun is asking that what is the best method to escape in an environment that is engulfed with much smoke? Okay, so and then one other question is, how do you attend to someone being electrocuted? And what is the first thing to do in such a case? Okay. Okay, so Mr. James, over to you, sir.
Okay, so if you unfortunately find yourself in a building that is engulfed with smoke, the first thing that kills people very fast in the case of incidents is, not being calm, being too excited, be too worried, because when you are worried, you can't make any reasonable decision. So you need to be calm first. So that's number one. Number two, the nature of smoke, the clean air that we breathe in is much denser than smoke. So in a case where a place is actually engulfed with smoke, the best air that you can survive on is as low as anything. So you need to actually go down on all fours. When I say on all fours, your two hands on the floor, your knees on the floor, because that is when you can survive. Because when you breathe in smoke, there is every tendency that, the nature of smoke, especially when we are talking about something that contains carbon monoxide, so you will not be able to breathe in very well. The channel of your oxygen or your flow of respiration would actually be blocked and disturbed. So it weakens your strength, so you get tired, and that's when people will not be able to move, and your sight also will be affected. So you need to go down as low as possible on all fours. If it's in the time that we are doing a fire drilling, in fact, sometimes when you see that going down on all four, you are still not breathing very well, you may have to crawl with your elbows. So all these are actually things that we demonstrate when we are in the physical fire drilling exercise or demonstration. So that's number one. Number two, it is very good for companies to actually train their staffs on fire drill, okay? Fire evacuation drill, that's what we call it. So that in the case that you have what outbreak of fire, like this one that you asked me, you will know what to do. Make sure you know where the exit door in your company is. The exit door, the assembly point, or that we call the mustard point or mustard what area, because that is where everybody, once you escape out of the building, that's where you have to gather for the head count. So, but what you do practically is what I've just said. Go as low as possible, crawl, you will see better, you will breathe better. When you get to any door, don't just open the door like that. Try to use the back of your hand to test the knob, the knob of the door or the handle of the door, so that you know how hot is it. So depending on the temperature that you feel, you may have an idea that maybe the room where you're about to enter into, fire has actually engulfed that place. So you open the door gently, because the nature of fire is that if fire has engulfed a particular room and you just open the door so widely open like that, so what will you have as the effect? Fire will just breeze in, just like that. So you have to open it narrowly so that you can be sure that what fire has not engulfed where you actually were going to. But for you to see and for you to breathe, those are the two key things when you are in a building that is engulfed with smoke. For you to see and for you have to see where you are what crawling to. Even when you crawl like 2 steps, you have to use your arm stretch, to check the front so that you will not run into a particular obstacles. So those are the little skills that I can say, virtually, because we are not in a physical class, for you to escape. So what's the other question, Mr. Moderator?
The other question is, how do you attend to someone being electrocuted? That is, what is the first thing to do in such a case? And what's similar to it is that what can cause electrocution even when you are putting on your glove, your hand glove?
Okay. All right.
So please, I can do that in just 2 minutes.
Okay, let me start from where you stopped. What can cause electrocution even when you put on your glove? A lot of things can cause electrocution, because when you put on your electrical glove, number one, put on the right glove. Electrical glove is made of rubber and not woolen materials. So we have had a situation where people wear mechanical glove and then they are using it to do electrical glove. So you wear electrical glove, which is made of rubber. And aside the fact that it's made of rubber, there are levels of voltages that the glove that you're actually putting on can protect you against. So there are level of voltages, okay, that your glove can actually protect you on. So there are some gloves that when you put them on, the one you use domestically on your single face, when you look at the one the power holding officials they use, you will see that is to actually protect them against high voltages. Now, another thing I will say is that PPE does not mean that you should dare hazards. When you are putting on your PPE, do not dare hazards. That's another thing. Don't say, I'm already putting on my glove, because I've seen a man before, he put on the electrical glove, and instead of him to use pliers to be twisting cables together, live cables for that matter, instead of him to be using pliers to twist them together, he was using his hand to twist those cables together, depending on the glove to actually come to his rescue, that he will not receive a shock. Anything can happen. The cable can puncture your glove, and then you receive the shock of your life. So you can't. You need to know the level of protection that your PPE is offering. And I mentioned that in the course of the class. You need to know the level of safety that is guaranteed with your PPE. So what do you have to do? Is safety first. There's always tendency that when you see somebody practically that is being electrocuted, the first instinct is the emotions that come with it. You want to rush at the person so that you can rescue him, but that would be the wrong thing to do. So what you need to do first is for you to isolate the person from the power. So you need to find where the breaker is, put off the breaker, and ensure that what the person is being placed where he can have what enough ventilation. In most cases, if the person is having issues with breathing, you can actually use a CPR. You can perform CPR on the person, because when you are electrocuted, most of the problem from electrocution is what effect on your heart, not being able to breathe, the seizure. Okay, the blood may not flow very well. Your respiratory system is actually broken down. So in most cases, you allow the person to be in a well-ventilated area, and then you perform CPR. If you are trained in that area, you can give him a kiss of life that we call an artificial kiss, just to actually help the person to resuscitate the person back to back to life. So I think that should do for the question. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. James. Yes, I would love to call other to take other persons, but our time is fast spent. We scheduled this training to end at exactly 4 o'clock, so this is a minute past the hour of 4. So I want to appreciate everyone who has been with us on this training. Yes, I did mention at the beginning that we are going to be dropping the assessment for this course. Yes, so while we dismiss from this class on the WhatsApp group, you'll be getting the link to the training assessment. So I want to implore us and encourage everyone to please take the assessment. And for those who will be picking on the certification for this course, you are required to do a performance of 60% in that assessment. So aside you testing your understanding of all that has been taught, it's also an what's it called, a requirement for the certification for this course. So please, let's take the assessment. Let's do it. It's not outside the scope of all that has been taught so far. So, and I'm sure that if you have been around in both classes, the class from yesterday and today, you shouldn't find it difficult attending to the assessment. So I want to appreciate everyone for being a part of this class. The certification information, we've already dropped it on the WhatsApp group. The deadline for the special discount that we have on the certification for this course is 3rd of April. I think we have about 3 discount offers. So immediately the special discount ends, the next discount offer is going to take effect. So those information have been dropped on the WhatsApp group. So please, let's endeavor to look through them. We are going to be posting them at the end of this class on the WhatsApp group. So our communication continues via that medium. So please, if you are yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, we encourage you to do that. We have a training that is coming up, which is on advanced accident and incident investigation. Yes, it's a training that many people who are in the industry actually should look out for. So I want to encourage you, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll be able to get ample notification whenever when this training comes up. We are equally going to be promoting it on our various WhatsApp group. Is on advanced accidents and incident investigation. So you don't want to miss that particular training as well. So to connect with us, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Take advantage of the certification opportunity that we have given for this course, and be rest assured that yes, would always many people who do our trainings, who have gone through our training at one point or the other, there are preferences that we actually be giving to them as many of our other courses unfold. Okay, so I want to say thank you and appreciate everyone for being a part of this class. Yes, this is not going to be the end of our journey together, our learning journey. And of course, I believe that, yes, many of us, we are still going to meet again in our subsequent classes. Okay, so till then, I want to wish everyone a happy and a great week ahead. So, okay, before we go, can someone just give us a feedback? It's going to be fine if we don't get feedbacks for the class so far. So please, your feedbacks, let's just do it in 30 seconds because of our time, so we don't keep everyone waiting. Ekeret Usak, please, let's have your feedback. Please just make it within the next 30 seconds. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for the session. I think one of the things I need to note is that you have a very experienced lead presenter. I would have wished at the beginning of the lecture, you may want to have an evaluation of the level of perception or experience of individuals joining the class so that one can have a right perspective on the whole. And I think you may want to extend this class by about 30 minutes so that we can have a
Okay, so Musak, your network is failing. We can't hear you. So we can't hear you at all. Sorry, Musak, we can't hear you at all.
Oh, apologies. Then maybe I'll look at your WhatsApp to give you some meta information if you can hear me.
Okay, that will be fine. Thank you, because your network just returned now. So, anyways, Adekunle Mustafa, Mr. Adekunle Mustafa, if you can hear me, can we get your feedback? So you'll be the last person we'll be taking the feedback from before we dismiss from the class. Adekunle Mustafa, are you there? Okay, but Adekunle Mustafa is not there. Choice Akpiri, can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay, please, we'll love to have your feedback of the class.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. The class has mainly been helpful. I learned about fire and the three causes of fire: heat, oxygen, and what again? Those are the three basic things that cause fire. And fuel, heat, oxygen, and fuel are the three things that cause fire. So I learned that. I think that's what I will take out of the class today.
Okay, thank you very much, Choice Akpiri. You did well. At least you were able to pick up on something. Okay, so please, if I didn't call you, please don't feel
Hello, can you hear me?
okay. So like I said, I want to appreciate everyone who has been with us. So Mr. Usak, yeah, my microphone was on mute before then. We'd love to have your feedback on the WhatsApp group, and everyone as well, please, when we end the class, just drop your feedback on our WhatsApp platform. So we appreciate that a lot, so we can connect better via that medium. So till the next time we meet, I want to say do have a productive days ahead. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. God bless you.